Good morning, Opening Pathways viewers. This is Tom Lenoble. It's great to be with you again. Today, I have a great guest for you. It's Josh Kanter, the founder and CEO of Leafplanner. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Thanks, Tom. I'm really excited to be here. I appreciate you
I'm
having me on.
excited. I'm excited for you to be here too. To get started, I'd love for you to tell our viewers a little bit about your company. And I'd also like for you to share with us what was it that sparked your idea to start it?
Sure. Love to do that. Thanks. So Leaf Planner is a SaaS software company. Obviously, I don't know if people will see this or hear this in both ways. Of course, from the gray hair, you can tell I'm not a 30-year-old entrepreneur. I'm 63 years old and came to this entrepreneurial journey a little late in life. As sort of you alluded to, because of the origin story of what Leaf Planner does. But Leaf Planner itself is essentially a platform designed to help families, principally families of wealth, but I would really say families with complexity, and we all have a lot of complexity in our lives these days, organize that complexity, create what we refer to as a family owner's manual, or almost, if you will, a mind map of how all the different intricacies of a family fit together. That could be your estate structures, your homes, your investments, your dogs, your cats, whatever it is. How does all of this fit together? Who are all the people, the context, the know-how, the knowledge that sits in different heads, the materials that sit in different file cabinets or spreadsheets or cloud services or whatever it is, and brings it all together into sort of a single map of understanding. The spark for it is really a story of our own family history. Not sure how far you want me to go into that, but I'm happy to share a little bit about that story and my journey and where it came from and how that led to this moment.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
So my family is, I guess I'll go backwards, I guess. Growing up, my father was a world-renowned tax lawyer, super famous guy. That led to a tremendous amount of complexity around our own family. And we were um, three generations of the family, kind of up and down, and I've got two siblings, so three branches of the family, sort of left and right. And my dad moved into the venture capital space in the early 1980s. My brother ended up in the venture world with him. I ended up becoming a corporate and securities lawyer by coincidence, not on purpose, but nevertheless. Ended up, as you might imagine, doing a lot of the work alongside my brother and my dad in our venture funds and our portfolio companies. And the three of us kind of worked together for a number of years, probably about 15 years. And then in 2000, unfortunately, as these things go, we found out my dad, who was 70 at the time, had cancer and was going to die. He was absolutely the quintessential patriarch who we thought would die at his desk at 100 of a heart attack. He was work was his hobby. He didn't play golf. He didn't play tennis. He didn't, he worked. It's what he loved to do. And so I mentioned a lot of complexity around our family. For us, that was, we were filing 750 tax returns a year for our family alone. We were embroiled in a fight with the IRS that would rage for 33 years, went to the US Supreme Court. We had a complicated balance sheet. We had all the issues that come along with a multiple generation, multiple branch family. So I left my job to come help my family figure out, how do we pick up these pieces? How do we move this thing forward when my dad dies, our dad dies? And when he died 18 months later, and I got the benefit of 18 months with him, both, in terms of certainly the emotional benefit of having that 18 months, which was, a wonderful gift. And then also I guess the education benefit of being able to spend that time with him and download from him. And I realized, Tom, after he died, how much I didn't know. And it was really crazy. And I was like, this is nuts. I'm a lawyer. I took my dad's estate planning class in law school. I had 18 months with him before he died. You don't get better prepared than I was. And if I was unprepared, what did that mean to my wife, my sister, my mother, my brother? I didn't have kids yet, but my kids, right? And so the idea of this owner's manual, which is now the basis of Leaf Planner, started 25 years ago, of saying there's got to be a better way to approach this. How do I educate the rest of my family,
Yeah.
our trustees, our executors, et cetera? So this was born 25 years ago, although Leaf Planner's been around for under 4 years, but the idea of it was sparked,
Yeah, what a
40
great,
years ago.
great story. And I'm so glad that you had this time with your father, not only to
Thank
learn
you.
about business, but you know, these relationships are important, and this part of life is really critical that we enjoy at least some quality time. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that you had it. So tell me
Thank you.
this, what personal values have guided you as you've started this company?
You know, it's a really interesting question, and I guess I'd say a few different things. I have a very deep-seated value around education. It's been sort of part of our family ethos forever. Um, I had a great benefit, and as did my siblings, of going to school where we wanted to go to school and coming out of school with no student debt and things like that. So the importance of education, in a very broad sense, I'll say, has been a really driving value and part of our sort of family ethos. As that relates to Leaf Planner, it's interesting because Leaf Planner at its heart is an educational tool. It's really about how do I prepare, educate, engage, empower my wife, my kids, my broader family, or any family that's using Leaf Planner about how to be successful in these things that they're, going to be responsible for. So that educational value, I would say, is definitely there. I have a passion for helping people. I feel weird saying this, like hopefully it'll come off with sincerity and you'll understand that you don't know me well enough. But I really, I've spent the last 25 years kind of in this family office world. The number of people who have helped me, I can't even count. It's such an interestingly open, transparent, and helpful and collaborative world. And I want to give back to that. And so any families that like to talk about these issues or want to understand these issues, I want to help. And Leaf Planner was a way of saying, I can help a few families a year. I also consult with other families and family offices, and I can help a few families a year in that vein, but that's time consuming. It's expensive. It's a lot of things. With Leaf Planner, if I can touch and help hopefully hundreds or thousands of families avoid some of the problems that we faced or other families face, that passion of helping families is
Yeah.
really important to me. So I'd say those are probably the two driving
Yes, I
variables.
love this where we take our life experiences and use them to be of service to others, so that we learn things from our experiences in life.
Yeah.
Um, I told you I have a book coming out soon, and that's exactly what I did, is take some very disparate life experiences and try and turn them into something that serves others, a guide, if you will, or just do something to inspire a bit, that there is something to this, of that our life's wisdom is meant to be shared. So
Yeah.
tell me this, did you ever doubt your vision of Leaf
Oh
Planner?
yeah. It's funny. Most of my life, so a couple different things will collide to answer that question. Most of my life, because of who my father was and the people who he basically was associated with and hung around, gave me, one, it's very intimidating, and two, gave me a real, uh, unrealistic perspective of what I should be. And so I expected of myself a level of entrepreneurship, I'll say, or success, and sadly, in the rearview mirror, I'll say financial success, and not a way that I would necessarily measure success today. Um, but I also always measured that with saying to people, I understand my own personality. And the way I used to say this, Tom, would be, I'm not the visionary. I'm a great number two. I'll go make somebody else wildly successful because I'm really good at the details. I'm a lawyer. And so uh, with Leaf Planner, this idea was sparked to turn the old owner's manual into Leaf Planner at a lunch a few years ago. I was with a friend, and a mutual colleague made this offhand comment of, hey, why don't you turn that into a platform? And this light bulb goes off, right? And I'm like, that's brilliant. I don't know why I hadn't thought of that, but that's brilliant. And so, but that's where it would have ended. And so doubt myself, yeah, absolutely. For me, my personality is such that I would have doubted myself. I'd be like, I don't know how to go do that. I don't know what to do. And frankly, it's the much to the credit of my friend who was at that lunch who really pushed me to say, go do this. But yeah, there's less doubt now because I think we've really demonstrated that there's market traction, obviously, and all those, kind of businessy things, and that there's nobody else out doing exactly what we're doing, and we're not jumping into a space where there's 17 competitors and all this other stuff. But along that way, oh boy, I doubted myself pretty
Yeah.
much every second.
So
It's true.
tell me this, Josh, on this journey, what have you learned about trust?
I think for me, the trust part of this journey has been, one, it's again, my history as a lawyer and a family office executive means I'm dealing with very small or a very limited hierarchy, right? Law firms are notoriously flat, right? You got partners and associates and secretaries, basically, right? I mean, that's it. There's not a lot of hierarchy. Um, in companies, I'm quickly learning, not that I hadn't seen this and knew this, but right, there's much more hierarchy, there's much more delegation, there's got to be much more trust in that people are going to do what they're supposed to do, and you got to trust them, and you got to trust their judgment, and they know more than I do. And my chief operating officer is like we are hand in glove. This company wouldn't exist and wouldn't be successful without both of us. And so, really trusting his instincts and his knowledge, and especially because there's so many things that I just don't know. Uh, so I think there's that aspect to it. Um, there's a little bit of just trust in myself that, it's taken again that self to put that self-doubt in the rearview mirror or the back seat and trust myself that I I bring something to this that I don't want to say nobody else could because that's silly, but that is coming from my perspective. And as you said, my life experience and bringing that to the table to help other people. I have to trust that there's value there
Yes.
and see that value.
Well, this is a perfect segue into something I want to ask you about. Tell me about your leadership style. And I'm curious if there's something that happened on the journey that really informed it, or was there an incident or something that clarified it for you? Tell us about your leadership style.
Oh boy, I wish I had a better answer to this one because if I still have self-doubt, Tom, it's around leadership. It's that I don't see myself as either a strong leader or a great manager. Again, I go back to what's interesting about the law firm world, at least the law firm world that I grew up in, because I came out of law school and went to a really, really high-end boutique firm in Chicago that had a phenomenal international clientele. And the expectation is you come to work, you do your job, you get it done, you're there for as long as it takes to get it done. If you don't get your job done, you get fired. It's a very binary thing. So the idea of motivating people and doing all the things that leadership requires, I hope my leadership style is to say, first of all, nobody will outwork me. So, if showing my passion for what we're doing is, I guess that's leadership. Is showing that passion, is showing my dedication to it, is definitely trying to understand what is motivating our employees and I'll say our teammates or whatever you want to call them. We're so small that they're all friends. It's not hundreds of employees that I don't know. Um, it is trust. It's back to that trust issue. I trust that people, because of that law firm environment, I trust people are here because they believe in what we're doing and that they're going to come and they're going to give it their best. I guess we're going to have to face up someday to if somebody doesn't do that. Fortunately, so far, we haven't had to do it. So I
Good.
guess maybe that all combines to leadership. I'm not sure I would have called it leadership, but as I say the words,
Yeah.
maybe it
Well, maybe it is. And being a leadership coach, we should talk about it.
is.
So tell me this, if you go back to day one of Leaf Planner, Would you do it exactly the same or would you do something differently?
I think I'd do it the same. I really think I would. I think it's been, coming at this, there might be a decision or two that I would make, obviously a little bit differently. I think coming at this, we launched Leafplanner when I was 59 years old. So it's different, as you well know, coming at this as a 59-year-old entrepreneur than as a 30-year-old entrepreneur. And so I think the decisions have by and large been ones I would make again in the same way. I think that I don't think like when I look at that through maybe questions of would I take different risks or other things, I think we've sort of balanced what I wanted to balance of the amount of risk we wanted to take, the amount of money we wanted to risk, um, the people we wanted to, risk on. I feel pretty good about the decisions that I would make those decisions again.
Good.
I'll say one of the hardest things has been, though, following my own advice. Um, and I say that in the sense that, I spent all these years as a lawyer and as a venture capital related person giving advice and now having to take it. Boy, it's a lot harder.
Yeah. Funny how that is, isn't it?
Funny how that is.
Funny how that goes. So, yeah, so when the stakes are really high, how does Josh make decisions?
Again, I'm going to say there's a lot of trust. First of all, again, one of those lessons I'll say in the, again, the advantage of coming to this after, if I'm 60, does that make it 6 decades or 7 decades? Whatever. I always get confused by that.
Plenty.
Whatever
It's
number of
plenty is
decades.
what it is, Josh. Plenty
It's
of decades.
plenty. Exactly. It's plenty of decades. Is that, I have learned some of these lessons. I've learned that I don't know every damn thing, right? I've learned that I want to surround myself with smart people who have been there, done that. So, I'm the majority owner of the company. I could put a board together of whoever I want to be there, of my friends and whatever, but I've put a board together of people who will push back, who will question me, who will tell me I'm thinking about something incorrectly, whatever it is. So, uh, I lost the question.
You were doing great with that question. I don't think you lost it at all.
Okay.
Um,
Um,
um, the stakes are high. How do you make decisions?
oh yeah. So it's really, it's trust in the people around me and taking in that advice. And then frankly, ultimately, I got to trust my judgment. I mean, it is kind of my company and it's kind of
Yes.
my vision and I got to trust that. And um for better or worse, that's kind of what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
and then sticking with it. Again, it's really
Yeah.
I love that you brought the notion of trust up because there's so much of this that I am
So much.
entrusting in myself in ways that I'm not sure as a younger person I would have done.
What's the hardest no you ever had to say? Was it because it wasn't aligned with values? Was it because it wasn't aligned in some other way? What was the hardest no you had to say to someone within or without the company?
Um, Within the company, I'd say the hardest thing has been looking at one particular, but I'll say maybe multiple shifts in direction and not even really direction, I guess focus, if you will. Because one of the things that for me has been really ingrained in, again, the lawyer, the venture capitalist in me is watching too many people with a great idea or a great vision or a great skill set um, fail because of mission creep, right? And and so for me, saying, part of Leaf Planner, for example, like our core clientele is the ultra high net worth and family office world. There is absolutely a retail application or a mass affluent application for what Leaf Planner does. Every family, I would argue, can use it. But I don't know anything about retail marketing. I don't really want to know anything about retail marketing. And it'll take a tremendous amount of money. It'll take attention, time. It will distract me and our team from what we know is our core value set or our core capability. And so saying no to those kind of,
Yes.
oh wait, look, rabbit. We should go after the rabbit. it's hard. It's hard to say no, right? It's
It
like, oh my
is.
God, that's a great idea, but no, we're not going to do it.
Yeah, I think we scratch our heads and wonder by saying no, did we miss something? But
Right.
you can't say yes to
Right.
everything.
You can't say yes to everything.
You can't
Right.
say yes to everything. So
Right.
tell me, what are you most proud of? And I'm thinking of not professionally, but personally. What are you most proud of out of all this?
Uh, I'm proud. Well, first of all, I mean, what am I most proud of? I'm most proud of my kids. So
Great.
there you go. That's easy. Um, and I guess I would say I'm really proud uh beyond that, both at my kids' level and even at my generation's level, that I look back at my parents, Tom, and I think I don't know. I wish I understood, and somehow I think I'm replicating it, but somehow the values that they instilled in me and my siblings, and whether that again was about education or hard work or being a contributing member of society or philanthropy it doesn't matter. Like there's such a core set of values that we all share and have now tried to pass on, and I think successfully. But like I look at our next generation, there's seven cousins at that generation, and I don't mean this like as flippantly as I'm going to say it. There's not a deadbeat among them. And I mean, it just makes me so proud to think my parents were able to somehow
Yes.
do this for us and we're doing it for that next generation. But nothing makes me more proud than my kids.
Yeah. So is it fair to say your parents were your mentors?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely had other career mentors and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I both love them and respect them. Um, yeah, just
Yes.
great.
Wonderful. It's the best. Tell
Yeah.
me this. I know our viewers are going to want to know too. How do you balance being a leader with being a learner?
Spending a lot of time, trying to do both. And maybe again, it's that by coming at this, well, that's not true. I guess I was going to say it's coming at this late because I'm putting that through the Leaf Planner lens. But I think I've always really seen that balance of learning. I feel like my whole career has been about learning. I think, law school teaches you to learn. Um, law school to me is such a fascinating education. And it's got that reputation, I hope, and in a positive way. That, people talk about law school as teaching you how to think. And to me, that's been completely true. Um, I don't really care about my high school. I don't really care about my college. I care a lot about my law school. Like I really would say all of any success that I've had, whatever that means, I would attribute to my law school. Uh, I think that then again, jumping into the family office world as I did, and again, by the way, being a good lawyer means constantly learning because and it's interesting today in today's environment of everybody working from home and all the remote work problems and everything else. Like I can't imagine how you become a great lawyer, and I think I was really good. How you become a great lawyer without being able to walk down the hall and say,
Yes.
"Hey, I'm struggling with this problem. How do I think about this? How do I draft this? How do I do whatever I do?" So that's a whole different
Yeah,
tangent.
it is
Um,
interesting. This remote work has brought
yeah,
so many benefits. I
yeah,
mean, there really are a lot of efficiencies and you can reach people you never could reach before, as
yeah.
well as you just can't walk down the hall.
You just can't walk down the hall, right? So, but so I think I was being a lawyer is a lifelong learning journey. You're never done. I used to hate that stupid cliche of they call it practice for a reason. So whatever.
So, Josh, I would like to know what's your boldest vision for Leaf Planner in the next 5 years?
I would love Leaf Planner to be a household name or close to it. Uh, I'd love to be helping thousands of families. Um, I'd love to have built a company, both a big company and one that I'm proud of. Uh, yeah, I guess
Good.
as a little startup, it's a bold vision.
You know, little startups sometimes are the biggest contributors to things in life. So, that's
True.
how it all got to start, got to start. We didn't get up walk until we crawled. So it's how it works. But it sounds like you're doing great things at Leap Planner. So here's what I want to know. What shifts are happening in culture today that are lighting you up? Is there something going on in our culture that feels like something new is happening or is good coming about?
Well, culturally, I guess I'll say depends maybe on if I look at that as a broad cultural question or not. Given my values, I'll say culturally, some of the things happening in the country are not particularly things that are making me very happy. Um, I think actually I guess there's people who are afraid of AI and things like that. And I'm very concerned about, for example, where that's going to go to what that means for people's jobs and in those sense. But I also think that it's really exciting to see. I mean, living, maybe people have always said this throughout history, but I mean, I can't imagine a greater time to live than the years that our generation, you and I have walked this planet. Like it's pretty cool. Um, Notwithstanding some of the bad things that our generation and prior
Yeah.
generations have done. But it's pretty cool. And then culturally, specifically within my world, if I define that as sort of the Leaf Planner audience again and kind of the family office world, or the world of multi-generational wealth, I'm really, really excited about sort of I think it's always been there, but there's a really overt shift to education. There's a really overt shift to making sure that rising gen family members understand, the things around them. I mean, it is what gives Leaf Planner purpose, but it's really exciting to see it's not just about investment performance. And I jokingly always say, Tom, you don't end up on the front page of the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times as a family wealth because you didn't get 10 more basis points of performance. You end up there because sister and brother are suing each other because they didn't know why mom and dad did this, that, or the other. Um, and so, I mean, hell, all you got to do is pick up the paper the last 2 days and you can see all the stories about the Murdochs again, right? So to me, it's the idea that there's in our industry that there's this really significant overt movement toward relational dynamics and education, and all through a lens of really positive psychology, not fear-based, which also was something the industry had to get away from, um, is really exciting to me.
Good. When things get tough, what keeps Josh inspired?
Uh, I'd say I'm gonna go back to my kids. Maybe my dogs, but but definitely my kids. I think look, first of all, I've had a great life. I can't complain about, anything at all. And as my wife says to me all the time, if I do get slightly bent out of shape over, or I'm tired, or I'm this, or I'm that, or people want too much from me, and she's like, you do this to yourself, and she's absolutely right. So I think that for me, it's, life is limited. We're here for only so long. There's only so much we can do. And we're leaving this life to the next generation. And so, my kids are kind of my inspiration.
Great, great, great. I'm curious. One question I'd like to ask is what does legacy mean to you?
To me, I'll say it means like literally to me. Um, I would frame it as values. Um, to me, again, I think if I look at the values that my parents shared with us or somehow transferred to us, and that I think we're all successfully, unbeknownst how, but somehow sharing to that next generation. Again, for me, it's around education, being contributing members of society, philanthropy, giving back, helping people, being kind to people, right? Whatever those values are.
Yeah,
Uh, but I definitely think that, everybody's got to define what that legacy is for themselves and what's important to them. And the families that I get the privilege of working with and the pleasure of working with, it's really interesting to see how meaningful family businesses can be. We never had a family business, so it's not. I don't have that anchor of in a good way anchor
yeah.
um, to anchor to tie to. So I think it's really interesting have families think about um, what legacy means to them, and is it, I mean, I hope for most people it's not just money, um, but it is the values, it is the history, it is the accomplishments, all of which maybe comes back down to values anyway.
Yeah, I love this idea of the privilege of being able to be a philanthropist. I have so many people recently when I bring up my philanthropy work, they're often the response is, well, I can't wait till I have money one day when I can be a philanthropist. So it sparked me. I've created a whole new keynote speech around the philanthropic mindset because philanthropy isn't just about a gala or your name on a building.
Hmm.
Uh, Philanthropy can be as simple as a smile or a hello to someone, and how we might think of
Yeah.
ourselves as philanthropists through a philanthropic mindset. So, I
Hmm.
have one final question for you today, Josh. If your younger self were watching this podcast, what would you say to him?
Took you long enough to get there.
Good. Josh Kanter, thank you for being with us today. I'd love for you to tell the viewers one last time a little bit about Leaf Planner and how they can find you.
Yeah, and Tom, thank you so much for having me. It's been a real privilege getting to know you, and I'm excited to keep our conversations going. You can reach me at josh@leafplanner.com. Love talking about any of these issues with anyone. And again, the company is really designed to help people organize, educate, engage, empower, really make sure that families are set up to understand the complexities around their lives.
Good. Josh Kanter, thank you for being on Opening Pathways today.
Thank you, Tom.
Yes. And to my viewers, this is Tom Lenoble on Opening Pathways, and I'll see you next time.